Alright, Orange Pill Gang, we back in it. This one is about the times that we live in. These days we live in a very raw world. Like, we're like in a very advanced society. Like, we're recording this on a phone and we all like are just, there's electric cars, and so everything is pretty advanced, at least from our understanding of human history. But everything like on in terms of like the sexual marketplace and like hypergamy and all these things is like, it just seems like very like raw and like natural, like almost how it would have been like many like years in the beginning, like many years ago in the beginning. For example, the fact there's just even like so many single mothers. I mean, I'm not sure if that's always been around, like, but I mean the fact that like a woman will have a kid with a man and then like and just leave him or whatever happens, like that seems like something that would, that's definitely not something that would have happened like 100 years ago, like this many, but it's maybe something that could have happened like thousands of years ago, like where it's just like women are just constantly looking for the best man regardless if they have a kid with him or not. And so that's like one thing. But even like on even the fact that they say like a lot of men aren't like getting like laid these days, that's something that seems like that's always probably been around, but it's like definitely like heightened now to the same that would have probably been like thousands of years ago. Like maybe 100 years ago it might have been like an even smaller percentage, like maybe like 10% weren't. But like these days, you know, you hear like crazy stuff like 2/3 of men, which is just like ridiculous. And that sounds like something that would have been like, that could have happened like thousands of years ago, like when like things are like just like raw and primitive, like when people were like weren't like, we have all this technology now, but when people were just kind of like maybe living in huts or whatever, that sounds like something that could have happened like back then. So it's like the times we're just living in is just like so raw, like it's just like just a raw time, like, and like that's like maybe like the good thing, because we're like seeing like the world like in its like truest sense, and like, and maybe like through that you can like just figure out really how to connect to like to the true sense of reality, because there's always like social structures and everything put up to like kind of like not necessarily control people, but like to establish order, I guess. And maybe like it's like healthy order because it's like obviously someone like designed it, built it, and a lot of people like followed with it for years. But it's like the time we live in now, it's just like so raw and unfiltered. Like it's just like the natural like nature of humans, like everything is just coming like the truth. Like it's just like all like walls are just being shattered down. Like the fact that people get married and divorced and all this like crazy stuff, it just seems like it's just people being true. And it's almost like this Drew's nature. Like it's like, so, but I mean, like besides that, like I was saying, it has to be like something underneath it where it's like, we're like in a time like we're like, you just see like the raw nature of how like one should conduct themselves in life. Because like when you have like all these like religion and all these like structures, like you're conducting yourself based on a set of rules that someone just put out to you, you just follow them. But like when you like live in times now, it's almost like you're following like the natural law of like the universe and like the natural law of yourself, like the law that manifests yourself based on the situation you're in, and not just following like a guidebook and a rule and rules. So that's like a pretty interesting thing. I mean, it just seems like natural cause and effect. Like if we live in times like this where things would happen like that, and like with hypergamy and the sexual marketplace, you can only imagine like all the other things that would ensue from that, like just naturally. So I mean, like, we'll just see what comes along in the future. But it is kind of crazy to think about how like things are like nowadays. Like the fact that some people don't even get dates, like that just sounds like that, like something like that wouldn't have happened like maybe like 40 years ago. Like not a large percentage of guys, that's something that would have only probably would have, not dates, but like just even like meeting with a woman and getting a chance, that's something that probably would have only happened like thousands of years ago. And maybe not, because maybe back then things were maybe more tribal, so it was more like maybe there were like not monogamous, but like more likely for everyone to have like a pair to some degree, but not completely monogamous. But it is kind of crazy. So I mean, like what we're living in now, like I mean, they say there's nothing new under the sun, but if it was like the first time what we're living in now, it's just pretty hectic. Like everything that will come from that, like everything is just pretty crazy. But then again, what you learn from that is like if you're trying to learn how to operate through that in a time like this, it would make you like really just turn you on. Like you think about it, like if you really think like I'm living in a time where it's like this and this, and it's just this barrier, and there's this thing going on. Like how does that like affect you? Like what is the natural response that you derive from like living in times like this? And so like, and I feel like it would naturally like put you like in like a natural primitive state of like what you need to do to like level up and navigate this, at least as a man, and maybe as a woman too. Because like it's like once you're like hit with something new, you like, it's like, and you're seeing everything that you're doing is not working, or is everything that was set up is just not in play, it almost like just turns you on to like a new set. And but whatever that new thing is, it's not coming from like something that someone wrote down. This is like, it's like nature manifesting itself through you, like what you have to do like to really be in tune with nature and yourself and universe. And nature, even your own nature, like your own inner nature is a person. Like, how should you be living your life? Like, are you even living your life properly? Like, there's living life according to the rules, but that don't mean you're living properly to yourself. So, like, obviously living in times like now, that might be a natural, like, chain of events where you would start kind of living by the rules. That's, like, what you're programmed to. But then, like, through events, it's, like, shattered to that, and you live it, and you have to figure out how to live, like, properly according to yourself. Like, what's the way that you should live? How should you eat as a person? How should you train? How should you work? What you do to make money? How should you just conduct yourself all together? And so that's, like, really that. And I think that's, like, something that, like, might be good of... Because you always hear all this talk about the hypergamy and everything, and everything else that will come with that. But it's like, you see how it would affect people. Like, some people would check out and some people turn up. And then what I'm kind of talking about is how you might, like, find something new within yourself, or like something that would be manifested, like, out into the open, like from within yourself, or even just from the society as a whole, from like the way things are coming. Like, you would even ask yourself, like, what even is the meaning of, like, all of what's going on right now? Like, what is, like, even the point of it? Like, you see, like, women are more promiscuous, and like, what even is it? And it's just like, maybe the point is just, it's just like how things are. Like, I mean, it's just influence. People would say, like, influence is why people would act like that. Maybe feminism or this or that, whatever it is. But I mean, besides that, I mean, it's just like, you would wonder, like, what even the point of all this, like, really is. Like, what's, like, what would come out of it? And I think, like, great things would actually come out of it to some degree. Like, from living in times like this, like a natural response, just like any event in history. Like, maybe something is devastated, and because of that, something great is, like, built because of that. So something slips out. I just feel like it'd just be a natural thing that would happen. But